First, you're going to want to get your materials. I'm going to be using 3 materials for my cover. One is going to be a black 70% cotton, 30% nylon material. That's going to be a lining material. One has to be a white 100% cotton material. This is for whatever you're going to transfer your design onto or print your design onto. And also one softer black material. This can really be anything that's a soft fabric, and it could be whatever color you want. You can use felt, velvet, knit, or whatever you want that won't scratch your Switch screen. Now you're going to want to grab your dock for reference. Here I'm just making my own edited design of the Money Store album cover for personal use. You can definitely use whatever kind of high quality design or image as long as you scale it properly, which I will show you how to do in the next step. In your photo editing software, set your canvas size to the dimensions of your transfer paper. So in my case, that will be a US letter or 8.5 by 11 inches. Make sure your rulers is on from the View tab and set it to inches. This will help give you a visualization for your scaling. Now you're going to import your image by going into File, Open, and Your Image. Then you're going to want to drag it into your paper-sized canvas. This is in the Photoshop software. Since my image is not proportional to the aspect ratio of the area that the Nintendo Switch dock cover takes up, I'm just going to extend the background rather than cropping or stretching it. I'm making sure that the height is exactly 3 inches tall for this image. For me, the length doesn't matter right now, so I'm just setting my image to its original aspect ratio at 4.5 inches by 3 inches. What is important is the 3 inches right now. But what is important is that you want your final image to be about 7 inches long and 3 1/4 inch tall. That's because that's what's actually going to show up or be visible on your dock. I suggest extending the background by 1 inch on the bottom, because that is going to be folded inwards and each side by 1/2 so that you have some extra sewing and adjustment room, and if it does show up or if you underprint it, it will still have a thematic color. You won't see any white spots in the edges. I'm going to be doing this by extending my black background on my image. For me, the white side doesn't really matter. Export your image to your desired file type, preferably one that will print nicely. While in your Photos application, flip your image on the Y or up and down axis. It will be flipped properly when it is transferred onto your fabric. Now before you print, load your printer with your transfer paper and make sure to follow the directions on the packaging. I know that my printer prints on the side loaded down, so I put the transfer side faced and load it downwards. Now once it is printed, make sure your image is scaled properly with your dock. Now transfer your design onto your white 100% cotton. Follow the directions yet again. Now peel that back passionately. To ensure that you're stitching in the proper places, trace your dock on the back of your fabric to get the dimensions. Note where the top and bottom is, and that the cover is only about 3 1/4 inches from the top, plus 1 inch of extra fold-in material from the bottom. I add a little more than 1/16 for the length of the dock. Here I am marking where the top stitch will be. Now cut close enough to the lines, but leave about an inch or so. I am folding in the bottom of the design and adhering it with just double-sided tape. I'm also adhering the softer fabric to the cotton nylon material so that it has some rigidity and that the material can be stitched onto the design better. I also cut this out around the shape of the dock. I also folded in the inside using double-sided tape. Now pin your material together with the design and soft sides facing inwards towards each other, and sew on the top line first. Make sure to backstitch at the end. With your outside sides facing in still, sew along the sidelines. Make sure to backstitch. Be careful and don't break your needle. Do the same on the other side. Trim off as much excess material, then turn inside out. You should be done.